Hello everyone, welcome to Altcoin Mentors YouTube channel. My name is Peter and we'll be doing our daily coin updates. So nothing really has changed over the last day or so. Everything's been channeling. As in the video I showed you yesterday, both our short-term indicators for Ether and for Litecoin went to neutral. And as you can see, it's just been going sideways. So we'll show you that in a little bit. So we'll start with Ether. So our long-term trend was turned negative yesterday, so we made that call. Our medium trend is still neutral, nothing's really been going on, it's just been going a little bit down. And then this is the interesting chart here for Ether. So we had our short-term trend went to a buy earlier in the morning yesterday, and then it kind of came close to what I call like the little warning zone, which is close to the 200 EMA. And since then, for the last day and a half, it's basically been going sideways. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down. And it is possible for you to make a little bit of money, but not on the hourly chart. You'd probably have to look at it on a shorter time frame, because it has been bouncing off of the 50 EMA here and a little bit over here. So here it's possible for you to make a little bit of money from maybe 94 all the way to from 794. All the way up to about 820, you get out over here. But then this is where the problem comes in right now. So then if you made this trade up here, you might be willing to take another trade to the upside waiting for the bounce. But then since then, it's just been going sideways, and then you're probably at break even. So let's go over to Litecoin. So our Litecoin long-term trend is still negative. Our medium-term trend is still negative, and there really hasn't been a trade for us. So we almost had a confirmation to the downside a couple of days ago, but that never came in. We thought it might happen again earlier today, but then started going back up. So basically it's really been hovering really close to the 50 EMA on the 4-hour chart. And so it's really a zone. So as long as it's stuck in this zone, there's really not much trading going on. But on the other hand though, for the short-term trend, for our intraday traders here, this could be a very interesting setup, a possible setup. So we entered along because our short-term trend went to a positive signal, and then it hit our profit target of 155. We took profits over there. We're waiting for confirmation. As you can see here, it says possible re-entry upon confirmation, but there's no confirmation. So the signal is over here, and the signal is really at 154.75, but that never came. So it's been very close. So it's been trading inside of this little yellow box. But the good news though is that if it breaks out of this little box area, goes to the upside, right, it could extend a little bit higher, going to the 170 to 200 range over here. So this is where I would set my zone here, and this might be the area for nice profits, right, to the upside, right into this little zone over here. So this zone comes from here, which is about the peak of this high range over here, and then close to the 200. So if it breaks out over here, closes above this resistance line here, it could break up higher and higher. Let's go over to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, our long-term trend is still negative. Our medium-term trend is still negative. We're actually thinking about considering a short-term, not a short-term, but a medium-term swing trade to the downside, because it's been hovering around the 50 EMA for a while now. And as you can see here and here, if we zoom in, right, a little bit closer, right, you'll see that there have been 2 attempts above the 50 EMA, but these are little wicks to the top. It never closed above. And then so as it got closer to the 200-day moving average, which is here, it kept on rejecting. So it kept on going lower and lower and lower. And now it's kind of on a downward trajectory. And if it closes over here and it confirms, we might go in somewhere along, let's see here, right? This is probably the range, right, here, that it will probably go to for us to take a short. And then hopefully here, the 7,600 level, we have to be very, very careful, because that is major support. But if it breaks this, it can go all the way back down to this area over here. So we'll wait until it gets to this orange area here in order to short. Now let's look at our short term. So our short term yesterday, Bitcoin is the only one that didn't turn back into neutral because it came into this little warning zone. It touched the 200 EMA. It came really close to the 200 daily EMA, and it's been hovering above the 50 EMA on the hourly charts. But recently it's broken down, and the problem here is that here we have a higher high, a higher low. Here we have a higher high, and we have a higher low. But now here we have a lower high right over here. So let me zoom in, right, so that everyone can see. So we have a color change and we have a lower high. So this high is lower than this one. So if this series of lows breaks down below the 50 EMA around 8,000, then the trend, short-term trend, would go into neutral and then possibly short. And then we have to be a little bit more careful, right? Because then here around the 7,600 line, that becomes our next little warning zone for the downside as it gets closer to this area. So there's a lot of opportunities here in the next couple days, I believe, and we just have to keep our eyes sharp and just stay patient for our setups, because that's really the biggest difference for institutional traders and people who just kind of like day trade for fun. If you're really serious about trading, the idea is to think of yourself like a hunter. What you do is you wait and you pick your spots. You don't go into the bush and chase animals and try to shoot them. That never works because you're scaring everyone off. You're making a lot of noise. So the ideal thing to do is to be like a regular hunter. So if you know anything about hunting, most deer hunters, what they do is they just wait in the trees or wait in the bush and just wait patiently, wait for the right setup, and you wait for them to come to you. And this way you stay disciplined and you make less trades, but your success rate will be much higher. Thank you for watching. Good luck.